Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Sheffield Select Board to order for January 17th, 2023. I want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded by CTSB, for which we thank them, and anyone can record the meeting upon notifying the chair. So, our first item of business is the approval of one set of minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the set of minutes from 12/19/22.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have a public hearing on National Grid utility pole hearing, and he is here tonight. So if you would come to the podium and introduce yourself, I will open this public hearing.
There are two poll petitions, one for solely owned pole and one for jail pole. This is for DOT bridge work that is expected to be done for the year 2027. Might be moved up earlier. If any folks have any questions, I'm here to answer.
So let's see if there's any board questions, and then we'll see if there's any public questions. So what is the purpose of these poles?
So these are going to be permanent locations, and it's for, so there is, DOT needs clearance for them to do whatever work they need to do for the bridge. And we have proposed permanent locations after when their work is done for county road.
And that's with both sets of papers?
Yes, so one of the solely owned pole is going to be a support pole. That's going to be across the road. That's a permanent location. And then the other poles are just jointly owned poles that we have with Telco. They're also going to be permanent locations after when the work is done.
Okay. Rhonda?
So this is by the restricted bridge on County Road. That's what I thought. The DOT's getting ready to move the pole so that they can bring trains in for the bridge work and stuff.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions from the board other than mine? Are there any questions from the public on this? Otherwise, I will take a motion. Susan, are you have your hand? No. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll try to speak louder. Is there a motion to close this public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right. The hearing is now closed. Is there any action the board wishes to take on both of these?
I'll make a motion that we accept the request for moving these poles on County Road.
I'll second that.
And Rhonda, can you sign these?
No, you'll sign them, but I'll have them ready for the signature
All right.
folder this week.
Great.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's move on to our... Thank you so much. Please, you do not have to stay. Feel free to leave at any time.
You're dismissed.
You're close to the door. And that goes really for anyone. When your item is finished, you do not have to stay. We just ask that you leave quietly. All right, the next item is the discussion and possible action regarding the citizens petition regarding 5G. Now, this regards the petition that we discussed at our last meeting. All right, and we had quite a discussion on this, and I think we all, at least speaking for myself, we learned a lot. I think as I reiterated, we'd never had a citizen's petition that hadn't come in the right form, so we never had a chance to deal with this before. I know I said, we would look and see if we could have any council opinion on it as it was drawn up, and it was very quickly that select boards and town administration do not get involved in citizens' petitions, primarily because, as we've been told, citizens' petitions are probably the purest form of citizen democracy, and therefore, including from the Secretary of State's office in Massachusetts, they do not want any interference that might in any way cause a citizen's petition to somehow be influenced by a select board or the town administration office. So we all learned a lot. I don't know if Bob and Nadine learned anything, but I sure did. So what we're talking about tonight is strictly what we're doing with the petition that was submitted, and that was submitted certified and that we discussed at our last meeting. So, as we discussed, this did not meet the requirements of a properly formatted citizens petition, in that the article to be put on the warrant was not duplicated on every page that was full of citizens' signatures. So what would the board, given now what we know and legal advice, what would the board care to do?
So I'll make a motion that we do not accept this petition for placement on the warrant.
As written.
As written.
Second.
Is there any discussion amongst the board?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So, next item. And Pat Mullins is here. Citizens' comment will be at the end of the meeting.
There was a petition that was given to you this morning. It was downstairs.
No, it was not given to us, and if it was given to us, we would have taken it down to the town clerk's office, because you don't turn in a petition to the selectmen. You turn in the petition. Nina?
It hasn't been
Nina?
certified, so we don't have it yet.
Nina, we don't have it. Nina, please, you're out of order.
Correct.
I don't want to remove you, so please wait to the public comment, and then you can speak, okay? All right. Pat Mullins is here from BRPC. Our next item is discussion possible action regarding a 23 community development block grant application. You were here a few weeks ago we had a public hearing and to update us.
Previous grant,
Yes.
the FY19 grant, and the accomplishments under that grant. And we said that we would be thinking, everyone would be thinking, about the potential for a new grant application for FY 22-23. So DHCD has determined that there will only be one grant or competitive round for both 22 and 23, and towns are invited to apply, but it'll be a 2-year grant. So instead of an 18-month grant for implementation. So as it happens, we still have a waiting list of some people looking for housing rehab, and we think that if we advertise the fact that we're thinking about another grant, that list would be augmented by other people who are interested. So what we're thinking about proposing to you is that we submit a grant on behalf of the town of Sheffield for somewhere between 12 and 15 housing rehab units. We don't want to ask for more than that, because we have, it's been our experience that it's very slow going with this program. It's very hard to get contractors to bid on the projects, and we're still experiencing some squeeze in terms of materials and supply and the cost of the materials themselves due to the pandemic. Everything kind of slowed down during the pandemic. It's never really completely recovered. There's just a lot of competition for contractors right now. So we feel like that is a reasonable number of projects to be able to get done within a couple of years. So that's what we propose doing. That application would be due March 2nd. And we would have to have a public hearing, another public hearing. And I'm thinking that would probably need to happen somewhere around February 7th or 14th, or however it falls most conveniently for you. February 6th.
And Wiley is coming down to talk about a few things.
Okay.
Wiley Goodman.
Oh, is she? Oh,
Yeah.
well, that would be good. So I'm not sure if you want to do that in the same evening, but we would need to have a public hearing at least 2 weeks prior to submitting the application. So that's
So the next one will be on the 21st.
That's very close.
that's very close.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's do it the 6th, if the board decides that that's what they want to do. Now, As soon as you finish, but I'm sure we're going to have some questions for you.
Okay, so the only other thing I need tonight is to know whether or not to move forward. We've worked with the town, BRPC has worked with the town of Sheffield previously on these grants, and the way we approach it is that we will be working on the grant on your behalf. Should the grant get funded, BRPC would be the grant administrator, and that's something we'd like to have a little bit of an understanding, so I have brought with me a memorandum of understanding. And if the board selects to do that, then I have something that you can sign either tonight or send it off to me later. It's up to you. So that's really all I need right now.
I think you and I have worked on at least 4 grants.
That's right.
And they've all been good.
That's right.
Okay. We haven't gotten them all, but they've all been good grants.
I think this should be a little bit easier and smoother since we, are very familiar with the community, and we know we're going to have a very intense few weeks in preparing the grant application, but we're happy to do that on behalf of the town because we feel like there's still plenty of need out there, and we'd just like to be able to continue that work.
So this would be Sheffield only.
This would be Sheffield only. I'm not
So
really
we need to get Rhonda's
interested in-
buy-off.
Yeah, right.
Because that means she's the contract administrator, and this
Yeah.
is not an easy contract
Right.
to administrate on part of the payments.
Right.
Is our needs score still good?
Yes, it is. Actually, it is. It is still good.
You're good?
Did I say something that wasn't correct?
No, it's just a little hard to hear when conversations are going on behind me
Okay,
at the same
all
time.
right, all right. And are we going to be penalized anyway for the grants we haven't gotten finished yet, which,
We anticipate having the money is all committed. Every bit of it is committed from the previous grant, and we expect the work to be completed by the time the grant application goes in. Yeah.
So those are my questions.
I don't have any questions. I think we should move forward with it.
Same.
So could we get a motion to do that as well as to sign the memorandum of understanding?
Yep, I'll make a motion that we move forward with a 22-23 grant for 12 to 15 rehab units with Berkshire Regional. And we will also be willing to sign the agreement, municipal agreement.
Second.
Okay, and that's a CDBG grant.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Rhonda, do you have any comments?
No.
No? Okay. So Pat, if you just want to leave that, we'll get it taken care of.
There's one original and there's some copies of it.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get you scheduled for 2/6.
Okay.
Will you take care of the advertising?
Yes. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
go ahead and do that.
All right, wonderful. All right.
Thank you very much.
Here we go again. Are we going to need photos again, Pat?
I'm sorry?
Are we going to need photos again?
Yeah, we will have to do that whole process again,
Okay,
yes.
I'll give you a
Although
call.
we'll use some of, what is already
Yeah.
existing as well.
I'll give you
So
a
we'll
call.
talk.
We'll divvy it up.
Right, thank
Okay,
you.
wonderful. All right, next we have discussion and action on a Tree City USA proclamation and application, which we have in front of us, a very small print. I have to put my readers on for this one. But basically, it's just the same proclamation we've generally had every year.
Correct.
And if anyone would care to read this, that's fine. If not, we'll just make it a document that people can check. It's just...
It just announces that Sheffield is still a Tree City USA.
Yes. And that Tom Ingersoll, founding member of the Sheffield Tree Project, does hereby proclaim April 29th as Arbor Day and in the town of Sheffield, and April 30th will be its day of public celebration. I'm sure that there's going to be the usual really nice to do over at the library where there's a number of events going on. So, do we need to just accept this or just sign it? What are we doing with this?
So you want to take a vote to accept the proclamation? I don't have the application yet, but it would be the standard application to apply for Tree City again. So I would hope that maybe you would go ahead and make a motion to accept that as long as it's the same as it has been in prior years.
Okay,
So
so
that once it comes in, it can just
We
get
have two
signed.
items. One is the 2022. Is this 2023?
No,
2022
it's
Arbor Day?
always a year behind. I don't know why they do it.
Okay,
that way,
fine.
but-
So the Arbor Day proclamation and also to ratify doing the Tree City application.
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have action regarding a resignation from the planning board. Rhonda, would you walk us through this?
Sure. So the planning board is an elected board, and so Caitlin Marsden McNeil submitted her resignation to the town clerk. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I feel that I must resign from the elected position on the town's planning board effective immediately.
So is there a motion to accept this and send her a letter of thanks for her service?
I make a motion that we accept the letter of resignation and issue a letter thanking her for her service.
Second that?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we have someone who has applied, and this is discussion, possible action on the appointment process for the planning board vacancy. Rhonda?
So according to the general bylaws, in the event of a vacancy, a member will be appointed by the selectmen until the next annual election. So we have to decide or accept the resignation, which we did, and then let the town clerk know that she needs to put the vacancy on the ballot. So we'll send her a memo tomorrow that has happened. And then you have to decide whether you're going to follow your appointment policy of announcing the vacancy and then announcing people's names and then making the appointment 2 weeks later, or whether you feel the need to have someone on the planning board, you would like to suspend your policy and go with the one person who's Brittany Ebling, who has applied for the position.
And she applied in September when it was felt that the resignation was
Correct.
was going to be coming
Correct.
forthwith. So I'm going to open this to the board. What's your opinions?
I would like to suspend our usual process and get Brittany appointed as soon as possible. We've been several months without a full board.
It has been several months.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and they're going into their busy season.
Yeah.
Bob, where are
I
you?
have no problem with that.
All right, so let's have a motion on this then, please.
I'll make a motion that we suspend our normal procedure in appointment and that we appoint Brittany Ebling tonight to start serving on the planning board as soon as possible.
Second.
Until the next election.
Until the
as we
next
discussed.
election, which
Yes.
is May 8th, I think.
I don't know the exact.
May 1st is annual town meeting. It's
Yeah.
very early this year.
Yes, it sure is.
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, our next item is, we discussed, is taking potential final approval on the district local technical assistant grant application for the planning board training. We discussed this maybe a few weeks ago. This was to address planning for the training board to be, training for the planning board to be very directed by their spoken needs, working with BRPC. And CJ Haas, who is the head of the community planning department at BRPC, had a Zoom meeting last Wednesday with the planning board, and what our condition was that we would not consider this further until we got feedback that that meeting went well. And I'm surprised George isn't here tonight, but my understanding was from CJ that it went very well, and that there was a real enthusiasm for this possibility to be kind of self-directed and they to come up with the topics, within the planning board range of responsibilities. So I think we're ready to go forward with this, but we do need a motion. And I just want to, I think we went over this before, but I just want to make sure we do get extra points, though I don't think we're going to have to put anything into this, but I can't be sure. We did commit to put in $2,000 if we needed it to, but I'm not quite sure where that's going to be required, but it does get us points, and this is, a lot of people have gotten on this bandwagon. We've been on it for over a decade, but a lot of people have gotten onto it. So the board needs to feel if that also should be done. If not, we'll just take it off and just put it in with no other than staff time.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the DLTA for the planning board training and commit up to $2,000 in support should it be necessary.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That has to be in on the 27th, so we have plenty of time. Okay, great. Planning board, excuse me, I'm still on the planning board. You know, I've always enjoyed the planning board, and I still have not made that transition completely from being off the planning board. All right, how about select board member items? And let's start with Bob.
I'm good.
And go to Nadine.
I don't have anything tonight.
And finally, Renee, I don't have anything. So let's go to town administrator items.
Wow, I think this.
Okay, so we're going to go to public comments, and I think, Nina, you wanted to say something.
My turn?
Yes.
I apologize for interrupting before, but when it says discussion on here, I didn't understand that that didn't mean we could discuss it, that you just discussed. Okay, it's just, did you, in the last meeting, we assumed that you weren't going to approve the petition, and you said to go and redo it. Well, we did that, and I talked to the Attorney General's office, and the woman there was really nice, and she helped me, sort of guided me with the wording, so because she said that you guys then have to send it up to her for approval once it gets vetted and everything. So she helped me with that, so I hope I got it right this time. And I did submit it this morning. Felicie, was having it vetted. Someone was there. She had one other person, I guess, that has to vet it. If you want a copy, I have a copy here, but she has that, okay? And also, I just wanted to make note that in just so you know, that we do have the right to make a law regarding this, a bylaw. It says the federal law, the 1996 Telecommunications Act, said localities do have the final say in zoning matters, to restrict these types of telecommunications structures in order to deliver actual safety to its residents. So that's in the Telecommunications Act, so you guys don't have to worry that we can actually make a ruling. And the new language that I put up, that I made up with them, was not to have a moratorium. She said that was a bad word. So, not a moratorium. It gives a condition that you have to do this before we'll do that. And that's what the wording says. And the supplemental information was on that. And I did get 22 signatures, and the top part was on both pages, so I did that right. And it was submitted today, so hopefully you'll get that tomorrow whenever the other person does it. So when is the next time that you need me to come in after you review that petition?
What's going to happen? I'm glad, you talked to the Attorney General, and the process is that you gave it to Felicie. Right. She will, the town clerk, she will certify the signatures. Then she will send it up here, and we will basically take it, make a motion to send it to the planning board, right? And then it goes to the planning board for public hearing. They have to hold a public hearing, I believe it's within 65 days, all right? And they then also, I believe, have to report out either that they support it, don't support it, I don't think, or are neutral. Okay. And they cannot touch any of your wording. The citizen's petition goes in word for word, all right, unless you've made some huge grammatical error, which I doubt. Then it goes on the town warrant for the May 1st annual town meeting, at which point it will be voted up or down by the citizens. If it is approved, it goes to the Attorney General's office at the end of the cycle after approval, along with everything else from town meeting that is subject to the AG's review. So that's when the AG would see it if it's approved. If it's not approved, the AG's office doesn't look at it.
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't do anything except look at it and pass it.
Okay.
And we would do that, let's see,
I don't know when you would do that, so we'll just, when we get it.
when we
make
get
that
it.
decision.
Yes, I think the latest that would be, because we have to do it at a formal meeting, would be February 6th, I think, is our next.
But it could be the 21st, depending on when we get it, so.
Yes, so I just want to say our next formal meeting is on February 6th. Our next, isn't it February 6th? No? Formal meeting? Our
Yes,
next
yes, I'm
working
sorry.
session
Yes.
is on February 21st at, I believe, 2:30, 2 o'clock.
No. Our next meeting, regular meeting, is February 6th. The meeting following that would be February 21st.
All right, February 21st.
Right.
So I'm sure, it's all up to Phyllis. Yeah, there's time, yeah.
And then, now, since this, I originally went through the planning board last year, and they developed all sorts of bylaws and things to
Yeah.
try to control it, and then they said it wasn't their responsibility.
Yes.
And now you're sending it back to the planning board? I don't understand, it has to come from you to go to them. I can't just go direct to them, because that's what we did before, right?
We're gonna double check on
They
that.
have to hold a public hearing. No bylaw can be adopted or voted
Even
on.
a general bylaw.
Correct, without the public hearing.
Okay, apparently no general bylaw can be adopted without the public hearing done by the planning board.
Oh, okay, all right,
All right.
so I'm doing the right procedure before when they.
We're trying to
approved it.
advise you
Yeah.
on what we can advise you on, which is the process.
Okay. all
Okay.
right. So I'm going in the right direction, that's what I want to know.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and it's in good hands with Phyllis. She will get it certified, and you have enough signatures, it looks like.
We have 20.
Yes.
This time
so-
around, we couldn't get everybody,
so,
but we got some
yeah.
new people.
Yeah, so I think we're on the right,
Okay.
you're on the right path.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so then we're all set, so then nothing, I have to, at the February 6th meeting's the next time we're going to discuss this, correct?
You're not going to discuss it.
Or do we not have to
Wait,
discuss?
the town clerk accepts it. You want to?
So the town clerk will accept it. She will send it up here. We will forward it to the planning board to schedule the public hearing.
Oh.
This board will not discuss that bylaw again.
Okay.
The only reason they discussed it last time was because there were errors in it
Oh,
and it
okay.
wasn't correct.
The submission.
And that's the only
I'm sorry if
reason
you
that
didn't
this
understand me.
board-
What I meant to say is this board is going to take it, they're going to take action to send it to the planning board.
Okay.
Right, Rhonda? That's the only action we're taking.
So then when it goes to planning board, I should find out from George when it's going to come up with them?
Sure.
It would be under George's control
Yeah,
as chair.
okay, yeah, 'cause I've been talking to him, but,
Yeah,
he says you guys have the first rung on the ladder, so.
well, George we take it and pass it.
Right, okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, so then I should hear from him.
I can't speak for George.
Okay.
I would contact George.
Okay, so
if you're
at what
wanting
point,
to
2
know what
weeks?
he is going to do.
2 weeks?
Nina,
I just want to know so I don't bug you guys.
We can't tell you when because we don't have it yet.
No, I understand that, but once
So-
you do get it,
we're going to pass it on ASAP.
Okay,
There is
all right.
no reason for us to hold it. We
Okay.
have no intention of holding it.
Okay, great.
We're a pass-through.
okay, I
And
appreciate it.
pass-throughs can happen very quickly.
Okay.
We just need it to pass it.
Okay, all right, hopefully it's right this time. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Anyone else for public speak? All right, if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, CTSB, and thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. This meeting is adjourned.